everybody, Abby with Farmhouse on the Ranch here. Today we are planting up this corner of the front flower bed that's right in front of my house along the sidewalk. You all have seen this flower bed a lot of times. I've worked on it a lot of times. Sometimes it just takes several tries before you get the vision in your head to match what you're actually seeing. Pooping in the flower bed. Pooping in the flower bed. Oh. Okay, here we go again. The life of having pets. But anyway, this flower bed struggled this year. Early spring, I had a glorious batch of tulips. They had almost 500 tulips, if I remember right, in here. And they bloomed and bloomed and bloomed, and it was gorgeous, and I loved it. Cat hair on everything. But this summer, I didn't hardly have anything growing in here because the flowers and the plants that I had from the previous summer put in here were so far under the soil because I reshaped this flower bed and rose the soil level up because this end used to be about a foot lower than that end. I lost a lot of the plants that I had put in here the summer before. And then doing some animal training, as we all do, and some animal deterring. I got some new cats. They think this is the best place ever. They're very hard on plants. When the dog is feeling rebellious, she likes to lay right in the middle of whatever is growing. And I have this little fence back here that I usually have up that kind of deters the dog, but I haven't had that up all summer, so everything's kind of been smashed. She's been being a very rebellious girl this year. Anywho, I got a few plants to put in here for fall, and just a few, because this corner is always lacking. No matter what is going on in the rest of the bed, if it's beautiful all in the rest of the bed, this corner struggles because the wind whips around the side of the house, in between the lilacs and the house, and just murders anything that's right here. You see all these tulip bulbs that are all dug up. The dog thinks she's so funny. But anyway, I've got 3 of the most beautiful plants here and 2 mums that I got on the frost sale at Walmart. Because we had, let's see, it is, I think the 8th, the 9th, 10th, somewhere right in there of September. I've lost track of my days. But we had 31-degree night, a high of like 34, and another freezing night, and got 2 inches of snow. And that was following like a 90-degree day. And now we're back up to, I think it's like 70 degrees today. But so that's kind of hard on plants. But I was in a separate part of the state earlier this week, over in Wyoming, where I used to live, and I wanted to go to this little flower garden center that I used to visit that I just positively love. They're the only place that I know of where I can get proven winter plants, and I just really, really love proven winter plants because I watch Garden Answer and Laura, and all she plants is proven winter plants, and I watch that every morning with my coffee. And she's always planting something that's gorgeous and doing really well and growing beautifully, and I just can't buy them here. So I got really, really excited when I was able to stop in there and pick up a couple of proven winter plants. They're usually really expensive, but I got these at 50% off. So I probably should have got a whole bunch more, but my budget only had room for 3. So I only got 3. But what I got was this gorgeous plant. This is a black pearl, and I do believe it is, yep, it's a heuchera. I always mix up heucheras and heucherellas, but this is a heuchera. It's a perennial, sunshade, primo black pearl. She plants these all the time. Let's see, 8 to 10 inches in height, zones 4 to 9, hardy and negative 30, sun to shade. I just love the color of this plant. It is so beautiful. It's kind of a green, gray on top and purple underneath. So I'm going to tuck it in the back here a little bit more protected because it'll really whip in the wind if I'm not careful. And then I got this one, which is a double play candy corn spirea. So she plants a lot of spireas, but I've never seen her plant this one, I don't think. But it is sun to part shade, zones 4 to 7, hardy to -30, 2 feet tall and wide. So, and these are all perennials. So I was thinking this one might go right back here in the back because it'll be a little bit protected, 2 feet tall and wide, give us some good color. And then this one I was really excited to find. I didn't even know you could get these anywhere. This is a Berry Poppins Winterberry Holly because I am always thinking about, oh, I can get that off of there. Hold on. There we go. Thinking about winter interest, which is a big deal. So your flower beds aren't just empty and dead in the winter, so they have something to look at. So this is sun or part shade, zones 3 to 8, so -40, size 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. Early summer, fall berries. So it's green in the early summer, and then it turns into kind of a red plant, and then it blooms out on all these red berries. But you have to have a pollinating plant for that. It's supposed to be in the flower bed. I don't have the pollinating plant, so I'll get one of those next year. So this year it'll just be a bush, no berries. And yeah, that is pretty much that. I will show you each of those tags when I get around to it. And I am going to go ahead and trim back all this stuff that froze, that doesn't look good anymore. I'm going to add some slow release fertilizer. I don't have very much plant tone left, so I'm actually going to be using some tomato tone, which is probably not the best idea, but any kind of fertilizer is better than no fertilizer at this point because this ground really, really needs it. So, let me get started. So there we are, a beautiful corner of flowers, all of them perennials, so they should come back in the spring and get bushy and big. And I do realize that these plants are planted way too close together for their suggested growth rate, like this one in the back here, this one here, the Mary Poppins. It's supposed to be 3 to 4 feet tall, so it obviously does not have enough space there to become its full 4 feet tall. But that is fine with me. I have absolutely no problem at all moving things as they grow. But I want the full mature garden look from the very beginning. So if I had to spread these all out to their suggested 3 feet wingspan, I'd have one plant in this corner. One. Because this is a 3 foot wingspan here. And that just wasn't going to work for me. I like instant gratification. I wanted a full, beautiful corner full of plants. So when they start to overgrow their space, I will dig them up and move them to the correct spacing. But I don't foresee that happening at least a year or two. So till then, I have a beautiful full corner of plants. The bulbs I dug up, I put in a bucket, and then I put them in a hole in the same flower bed. I just dug a hole and dumped them in, so they are hopefully going to come up in a bunch. That's why I planted so many tulips. It's because I know that things are going to happen to them. Like I'm going to hit them with a shovel, the cat's going to dig them up, the dog's going to dig them up. They're just going to move around. So I plant way more than I should for the space, and then if a fourth or a half don't make it to next spring, then at least I still have a ton of beautiful tulips in the spring. I wanted to show you one more thing before I close this video. My mums made it through the other night. I know that I was very pessimistic about them making it. And that is because when you're expecting a freeze and you're covering your plants for a freeze, you want to make sure you get them covered before the moisture sets on their leaves, because that is what causes your plants to wilt and die if you're covering them still. As if they got really wet and then you covered them, there's no point. You have to have the dry plants under the cover so that when it freezes, their leaves are more resilient because they're not already wet. I don't know if that makes sense the way I presented that, but that is why. That's why I wasn't thinking they were going to live. They're quite hardy. So they are fine. And I just covered them with a sheet because I didn't want to squish them with a comforter. But they are going to bloom gloriously, I hope. There should be. There's enough buds. And they are also perennials, so hopefully they will come back next year. So if you like my channel, please subscribe, like, leave a comment. All of those things help my channel to grow, for more people to see the videos. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.